may want to agree or disagree with me that one of the factors responsible for collapse of structure is the use of substandard building material. Now we are at the Lagos State Material Testing Laboratory at Ojudu, Baja, Ikeja, where we'll be discussing or meeting with the General Manager, Lagos State Material Testing Laboratory, Engineer Olufunso Edmulade. Please call with him.
Engineer Olufunso Edmulade has over 30 years of civil engineering and project management expertise. He holds Higher National Diploma in Civil Engineering, Structural Option at the Polytechnic Ibadan, B Engineering Honors of Civil Engineering with Project Management, and MSc Project Management at Greenwich University in London, respectively. He has strong technical and managerial background with senior level experience and cross-sector exposure. He specialized in civil engineering, project management, traffic engineering, highways and transportation, risk management, and maritime structures. Prior to his appointment as the General Manager of the Lagos State Material Testing Laboratory, he was the General Manager and the Chief Executive Officer of the Lagos State Infrastructure Management and Regulatory Agency, LASIMRA. Engineer Olufunso Edmulade has to his credit many awards, honors with both national and international professional development that includes the following: Wharton University Executive Education in USA, the Strategic Decision-Making Mindset, the Fuqua School of Business in the USA, Duke University Leadership Program, Lagos Business School, the famous Lagos Business School in Nigeria, the various leadership programs, University of Birmingham in UK, Senior Road Management Program, Santon Convention Center in South Africa, Africa Roads Seminar, amongst others. He's a member of Nigeria Society of Engineers and United Kingdom Chartered Institution of Highways and Transportation. Engineer Olufunso Edmulade loves sporting activities, music, and also enjoys researching. Join me as I speak with Engineer Olufunso Edmulade, the General Manager of the Lagos State Material Testing Laboratory. This is Cable Plus Property. Okay, so we're here to talk about the Lagos State Material Testing Laboratory. For one, I would say this is of course my first time being here, and I'm sort of in greenhorn when it comes to the functions of this agency, and so I'm so glad that I'm here today, and I'll be learning from you what your activities are. And that leads me to asking the question our viewers out there would like to know: what are the statutory functions of Lagos State Material Testing Laboratory?
Yeah, thank you for the question. The statutory function of this agency is to prevent building collapse through testing of building construction material. That is the statutory function. But we have other functions which entails regulating private laboratories, encouraging the establishment of private laboratories in all of the 20 local governments and 37 LCDs, enforcement and compliance to make sure the right materials are used on site, and collaborating with other sister agencies like NASPA, LACA, Safety Commission, etc. But most importantly is that the agency established a kind of mechanism through control assurances method to check all these things. So that is statutorily what the agency has been established to do. And the agency was established 2006, April. But it was established as an MOU with a consultant, S. McIntosh. So they were running it for 10 years on behalf of the government. So after the 10 years of the contract lapsed, the government of Lagos State took it over. So since that time, since 2016, 2017, the transition period, the Lagos State government has been running the agency and responsible for whatever laws or review of any existing laws that will meet present or address the present demands.
Okay, so having said all this, is are the activities of the agency regulated by the law? And NPS, are the public aware? How do they have access to new laws and regulations?
Yes, of course, without any law, nothing operates in Lagos State. So this law was promulgated 2005, but it became operational 2006. And again, part of the functions of the agency is to promote public enlightenment and advocacy so that people will learn and know that there's an agency they can run to when they need to carry out tests on all building, construction, and civil engineering infrastructure materials. So, of course, it's regulated.
Okay. So how accessible are these laws to the public?
Well, it's unfortunate that, there's something called there's no ignorance in law. Every Lagos State parastatal MDA that has laws are readily available to the public. All you need is to go to the Ministry of Justice and buy them. Oh, yes. The only thing we can do, every agency will actually promote, its own agency. So other than that, the public just have to know where to go to get the law. Even you can search the Lagos State website. Actually, you'll get some material that will direct you to where you can get the laws.
Because I was hoping that not everybody might be aware that, okay, they can purchase a copy of the law at the Ministry of Justice, but if there's a website, when the world has gone global, right, everything is now accessible in the internet. So maybe if there's a website they can visit to go through the copies of this law.
Well, of course, I'm sure the government is working on that, and all NDAs are working on that to actually, put the law online. And like I said, if you go to the website, I'm sure some of the laws, from agencies, or if not all, are always online. So it's just left for people to go out, search for it.
Okay. So my next question is about buildings in itself, or structures. What categories of structures and at what level of construction does a developer require agencies to step in?
Okay, for me, I always say this. This agency is really important from the conception of any project. The moment a client or an employed either a consultant or a consultant is the moment we should visit the agency. And why I say that is because the land that edifice will be established need to be tested, because you need to know the nature of or the properties of that ground. It is the nature of that soil that will allow you to carry out a design, be it foundation or whatever. Because without you knowing the nature of the soil, what foundation would you prefer? You cannot prefer ordinary raft foundation where you don't need to, where a pile is required. And the only thing that will tell you that it's a pile foundation you need to do on that land is this test you need to carry. And you can do a lot of tests. You can do SPT, standard penetration test. I don't want to go into technical jargons, but let it be known that the first thing is you need to carry out a soil test to know what design, foundation design that goes into that ground. And after that has been done, at every stages of that construction, you must test all the construction materials. And we don't just test soil or, concrete, or we test everything from water, because the kind of water you use on the island is different from the water you use on the main. Predominantly, a lot of people import water to site, but some will test and look at the salinity of that water or even, they carry out salinity tests almost regularly. So for me, and even if we escape you and you rush your build, there is something called non-destructive test. And that is the post-test. We can still carry out a structural integrity test on that build to know whether that building is structurally safe.
So, in other words, from inception, a developer has to engage you. Okay, so at what point then would you say that a developer has contravened your laws or your regulations?
From the inception, failure to come to us, we have contravened the law.
Wow.
Yeah. But a lot of people don't know. And I keep saying this, ignorance is not, if you have to know the law. So from inception, if you do not come to us, you have contravened the law. It is government's law. And that is why the enforcement department is there to make sure the right thing is done. Because for me, this agency is seen as a safety agency to preventing, collapse, loss of life, and properties.
Okay. So now, the thing is, this is not even part of my question, but I was just wondering that. The thing is, the public is so ignorant on all of these things, right? And that is part of the reasons why we appreciate endeavors like this, so that we can come to knowledgeable and experienced people like you and then put out the information to the public so that they can be aware. Because I, for one, never knew that. You have to engage your agency from the point of even thinking of developing on the land for soil tests and all of that. Wow. So in light of that, what kind of materials or do your agency carry tests on all kinds of materials at all?
Any building material, and ranging from water, aggregate, concrete, cement, steel, whatever, and even the soil.
And yeah, you mentioned water earlier.
So, and that's why we have the destructive test and non-destructive test. Predominantly, the destructive tests have been done in the laboratory. They have to bring them in. It doesn't matter whether our clients supply samples or give us the address, we'll go ahead to take sample. And we bring it to the lab to analyze it. And some of the destructive tests, some are done on site. Before we bring all the tests, the parameters, analyze it, and tell them what they need to do.
Okay.
But the other non-destructive, of course, is just structural integrity test.
Okay. Can you give us maybe examples of these materials? Are there the ones that have to, maybe not all, just a few, the ones that have to be taken or brought to the lab?
For example, your reinforcement must be brought to the lab. We have a steel laboratory that tests your reinforcement. It tests the tensile strength, if it's the required tensile strength for a particular reinforcement diameter must have. And at the same time, we check the diameter of that reinforcement. Because often at times, if you see all these fake materials, it's either it's not up to the diameter or the required strength by law. So you have to supply like 6 samples to us. We bring it to the lab, we take it to our steel lab, we test it, we tell you the result. And if it fails, we don't just stop there, telling you that it's failed. We are going to write you a letter because we need to know who supplied or where did you purchase that construction material from. And the rest is history. So, we have a lot of people that we synergize with that can take it further. Again, the concrete, the way we test it, it can either do in situ or not. In situ, I mean on site. And it's called slump test, whereby we take the salt to the lab to the site. So when they are mixing, before they cast any particular structural element like new column or slab. We do that sometimes. And if the workability or the ratio is good, then of course we know how many bags of cement are put there, how many quantity of water, how much quantity of water, how many aggregates. So once you know that if you continue with that mix, you are safe. So that's what it is. If you want to do Q, it's either we take our mold to site. Once you do your concrete, we fill our mold, we bring it to the laboratory. There is something called compression test. Compression test, we have a compression machine. It tells the compression strength of that concrete. So, we'll crush it. It gives us some data to know whether that mix is good. Otherwise, if it's poor or it has failed, we will write that site as well.
Interestingly, what happens in a situation where you test the material and it doesn't meet up with your requirements for standards? Particularly, what happens to the developer that has spent his hard-earned money to purchase these materials?
Well, that's why the government established, as part of the law for this redress enforcement unit, we have to seal that site. Oh yes, we will seal that site. We will make sure things are, the right thing is done before we open up the site. All necessary tests will be passed.
Is there a way of compensating or, giving the developer? Because I'm looking at, the cost of purchasing these materials.
Well, yeah, I think the onus is on the developer to procure the right material. So for me, whether I send somebody or he wants to do it himself, negligence. And that is why it is important when you are buying material, construction material, you can test it before you use. And you have to bring it here. For example, you want to procure tons of reinforcing bars. Would you go and buy it first and bring it to test? Or you tell them to give you a sample or test and make sure it's okay before you buy the amount you want to use? So it's not down to the government. It's down to the developer. I understand developer go to bank to get loan. They want to do their KV, sell the house, recoup their money back and move on. But yes, on the flip side of things, the government, one of the primary objectives of any government is to protect lives and property and making sure the city is safe. So the government doesn't care whether you went to go and procure a fake material and will stop your construction. Are you expecting government to compensate or what basis?
Let's go on a quick break and we'll be right back in the video.
Cable Plus Property, the hub of professionals in the built environment and the #1 online educative platform on all issues related to land and landed property. At Cable Plus Property, our aim is to ensure that all Nigerians and non-Nigerians have at the tip of your fingers, free of charge, all information on landed matters. We provide you with all information you need to know about land procurement, land documentation and development, planning permit procurement, building construction, and so on. Join us today for free by subscribing to our YouTube channel, like and follow us on our social media platforms, and check us on our website www.cableplusproperty.com. Together, we shall make our environment better. Spend and build right.
Hi, welcome back. I still have engineer Olufunsho Ilulade with me, and we're still talking about building collapse, the menace of building collapse in Lagos State, and how the Lagos State Material Testing Laboratory has been contributing to efforts to ensure that we stem the tide. Are there any statutory fees to be paid by the developer, maybe at the stage of prior to the construction, during or after?
Oh yes, there are a set of fees that is allocated to every test. For example, how much you pay for NDT different from how much they if we are carrying out Q tests, reinforcing back tests, and so on and so forth. And I always tell developers, the earlier you engage these acres, and cheaper it is for you. Because some of these tests bring this from 4,000, for some tests, bro, cube tests.
4,000 there.
Yeah, that's about 10,000. Than waiting for you to be caught after you had finished and a charges per floor 100,000. So this is what I always say. You will enjoy our patronage, or we will enjoy your patronage by we starting together from the inception. We have a lot of, expertise there that we can even advise you on the kind of construction. We'll advise you the kind of method, in terms of buildability. So we always enjoy where we work as a team with our clients.
So what does your agency expect a developer to do? Having obtained the planning permit from LASPA and then permission to go ahead with construction from LASCA, what is the first step that the agency expects such a developer to do?
Okay, like I said for the section, because it is your design that you take to LASPA before you get them. So you have already engaged us.
Oh, before going to LASPA?
Okay, you are submitting your design. Because LASPA won't give you a permit without any architectural drawing or structural drawing.
Mm-hmm.
So how did you get the building constructed? How did you get the soil test? So ideally, you would have come to us. Well, there are different sets of construction.
Okay.
The last part gives permit for renovation as well. So in terms of renovation, which is not a construction that you want to start from, zero, Brazil, then you are expected to do a non-destructive text, which is confirmation. We call it confirmation. So for us, after you have done all your, bits, arrive at the product, the knock is the other wall, put corner, put beams, slab, then I'll go in there to do a, confirmation, not destructive test. Because from what I know, the government is up with an initiative, which is called certificate of figures, a certification. So without a non-destructive test, I'm not sure they will issue you that certificate.
So the developer has to come to your agency before even proceeding to LASPA and LASCA for whatever.
Yeah, because with the design.
But the last, I don't think LASPA agrees with this arrangement.
I'm sure LASPA does, LASCA does.
Okay.
To be honest. But the thing is, because we encourage or regulate other private laboratories, say when the fecal controls room, predominantly some of them go to our private laboratories. As long as it is regulated by the government, that is when the report is tenant. If it is in the laboratory is not on our register, we have a lot of silage with LASPA and LATCA. They will send you here to go and get, certificate of non-destructive test. There was an example yesterday, but I won't mention that LASPA wrote us that client should go and get non-destructive test done before they issue
Speaking of synergy, do you have any working relationship with the Standard Organization of Nigeria?
Oh, well, we should.
Okay.
Because there's no point. We should. But the synergy, lukewarm. For whatever reason, which I can't put my hands on. But, it is a function of SOA to actually regulate, you understand, all materials, either local or international, coming into the country. Of course, Lagos State established this agency to complement what's on the field. And even in the law, it says that our activities must be in consonance with Standard Organization of Nigeria. So there is a little bit of, I wrote them sometimes ago, I think about a year and a half ago or two. Yeah, I want to meet them, but for whatever reason, maybe their bosses indisposed, saying, yeah, so there hasn't been any like I have with my sister, agencies by NAPCA.
That's fine. In light of that, don't you think their reluctance is making the work cumbersome for you? Because if you have a good relationship with them and they ensure from their end that whatever materials coming into the market is of standard quality, I think that sort of reduces the burdening.
Yes, sure, but it's unfortunate the way we Nigerians think. I'm a Nigerian as well. But Nigerians will always want to, some Nigerians, don't let me generalize, some Nigerians will always want to maximize profit. Even if we show that this is the right material, quantity material, they will go for substandard material because they wanted to rip off the client and make more money for themselves. Yes, I agree with you, but then we have 36 states in Nigeria. Will soon establish laboratory in every state to test? That's the question you need to ask to guarantee the quality. How many local manufacturing companies would they control the manufacturing? Because it's part of our responsibilities to keep register of all construction materials manufacturing companies or manufacturers, from paint to steel to concrete to cement, Lafarge, good trade. Oh yes.
And that was the interview with Engineer Olufunsho Ilulade, the General Manager of the Lagos State Material Testing Laboratory. And like you've rightly heard from the horse's mouth, if you are a developer or an intending or prospective developer, well, before you even think about starting your construction, I think you know what you should do already. And if you know anyone who is developing or intending to, you definitely want to share this video with them. Don't forget to drop a comment in the comment section down below, like this video, and also subscribe. My name is Eliza, and this is a Cable Plus Property.